starting to annoy me. This is going to be my third time trying to record this video because the first time the audio didn't record right, and the second time the screen recorder I use, it messed up and it did not get the right dimensions for the video. So I undid everything I changed, and let's just act like I never said any of that. So today I'm going to be teaching you about constructors, and what a constructor is whenever you create an object. So we have our Fred class here. Whenever you create an object of the Fred class, we have that right here. Then a constructor is a method that is run when you create the class. So like, here's a method, here's another method. We wrote all those last time. And so yeah, you know what a method is. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to delete all of this. And we're going to delete the scanner import. You don't need to, but it's just good cleanup, so because we don't really need it anymore. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a scanner object in our Mies class. And then we're going to tell the user to enter their first name. Tell them to enter their last name. Now, in between here, we're going to string first equals s.next line. I'm going to do the same thing for last. So string last equals s.next line. So yeah, that's pretty simple. We've done all that before. Now what we're going to do this time is, the way you create a constructor is you do public, then the name of the class, so Fred, and then inside of here, like any other method, you put the parameters it needs. So we're going to do string first, string last. And then what we're going to do is, so don't worry about private here, but what we're going to do is we're going to do string, and then I'm going to call it first name. We're going to do the same thing for last name. So private string last name. So the difference between this and this is that the entire class can access this because we don't have it inside of a method. So the entire class can use these two variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to set first name equals first, and last name equals last. So basically, whenever you create a Fred object, you have to pass in a first name and a last name. And then the Fred class, each object of the Fred class has its own last name variable and first name variable. The first name variable gets set to the first name that you entered, and the last name variable gets set to the last name that you entered. And now we're going to create say hi again. So public void say hi. And then we're going to print out hi plus first name plus a space and then last name. And see, because it's for the entire class, we can use them. We can use these two variables, first name and last name, in any of our methods. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new Fred, Fred F equals new Fred, and then like last time we put blank parentheses, but this time we get an error because we created a constructor for it now, so we need to pass those in. So we're just going to pass in our first and our last, which is right here and right here, which is whatever the user entered. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to say hi. So that's pretty straightforward. If you run this, it's going to say enter your first name, Bob, enter your last name, Joe. Hi, Bob, Joe. Same thing we had last time, except what we did is we used a constructor and some local variables that the entire class can access, and we made it look a bit neater, and the code is a bit shorter too. Okay, I just realized this. Can't believe I didn't realize this before, but what I like to have is line numbers here. I can't believe I didn't realize that before, but what you do is you go to Preferences, you go to Window, Preferences, then you go to General, Editors, Text Editors, and then right here, Show Line Numbers. I just like line numbers because it helps a lot when you're trying to actually debug the code. So yeah, I can't believe I didn't do that earlier, but it's probably a good idea to do that. So that's the end of this tutorial, but one thing that I want to tell you about is if you're not following my channel too much, then you wouldn't have seen my time-lapse. So you see this new package over here. I was playing around with some ideas for the text-based game that this tutorial series is eventually going to lead into, and I made a time-lapse of it if you want to go check it out. Now of course the time-lapse has some code that won't actually be used, and it's not necessarily anything you'll understand, not yet at least, but it looks pretty, I think it's fun to watch, and it's a pretty cool outcome just for less than an hour of actual work on it. But yeah, you can go check that out if you want. You can find it on my channel. So if you like this video, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. If you have ideas for what I should cover next or any suggestions about that, then leave a comment on that and I'll think about it. If I need to go over anything again because I didn't explain it well, leave a comment on that too and I'll go over it as soon as I can. And thanks for watching.